Hello, boys and girls. This week in reading class, we will be reading The Day You Begin, written by Jacqueline Woodson and illustrated by Rafael Lopez. As we read this text, I want to see if you guys can make any text-to-self connections. And when I say that, I mean I want you to see if you have anything in common with the characters. Maybe you are currently or have felt in the past the same way that they're feeling. Maybe you are currently or have in the past gone through a similar situation that they have. So as we dive into the text, let's see if you can make any connections with the characters. The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela, and because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. So what is Rigoberto going through right now? That's right, he's not really accepted by his classmates and peers because he speaks a different language or has a strong accent. How is he feeling with that? Take a look at the illustration. When he's at school, he doesn't look very happy or comfortable or accepted. Rigoberto from Venezuela. Your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming the first bright notes of a song. So what is the author trying to explain here? That's right, that when his teacher says his name and home country, he feels happy and it sounds beautiful, and she says it with such love and acceptance. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller when the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer? Tell the class your story." "We went to France," Shayla says. "These shells came from a beach in Maine." A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells, so fragile they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. "My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina." Each souvenir a small triumph of a journey. Their travels going on and on. This girl right here, I can connect with her. When I was in 3rd grade, on the first day of school, we had a writing assignment. We were to write and illustrate our most exciting summer adventure. And while we were all working, we were chit-chatting with each other, sharing our stories as we're writing, and I started to realize that all of my classmates and peers had an extravagant summer, a very exciting one, while I didn't. So I ended up fibbing and lying on my writing assignment. I remember saying that I went to every roller coaster, amusement park in the country, which is kind of crazy and unrealistic, and I drew a picture of myself on the roller coasters, and I did that to feel accepted. And so that's how I can relate to this little girl right here, who also didn't have an exciting summer when all of her classmates did. Let's read a little bit more about her. "And as you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb, and your days spent at home caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she'd fallen asleep. And in that room, where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere?" There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or unfamiliar for others to love as you do. When even your own friend Nadja will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat in kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. And kimchi is a popular Japanese dish. And so even her friend is looking over at her lunch like, "What's that?" when she probably loves it and reminds her of home. Have you guys ever brought a lunch that you didn't feel like your friends accepted or that they thought was weird? I'm sure you'd feel very similar to her. There will be times when climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, the game isn't one you could ever really play. "I don't want him on our team. You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later." Have any of you felt left out of gym class or recess because you weren't the most athletic student? I'm sure I have. There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. How do you think he's feeling over here in comparison to these students over here? He's probably feeling lonely. He's looking at them, almost longingly wanting to play with them. And they're just having a good old time, not even realizing he's all the way out here alone. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't yet know what you're ready for. What is this illustration trying to show us? I think it's showing us that while on the outside, he looks lonely and weak, on the inside, he's independent and brave and can tackle anything. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my little sister. You tell the class your voice stronger than it was a minute ago. Reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. Why do you think Angelina felt that she can go anywhere and everywhere during the summer, even though she stayed in her own apartment building? That's right, it's because she was reading, and she got to imagine that she was in the world of those books. And she got to bring her sister along with that. Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. And all at once, in the room where no one else is quite like you, the world opens itself up a little wider to make some space for you. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not quite like you at all. What is this author trying to tell us about every student and every child? That we're unique and beautiful being unique. And that's the end. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of our activities in the Google Slides on Google Classroom.